Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And we got to talk about that spring is here. Warm weather is fastly approaching. And will there be much chaos and disruption throughout our urban cities this year of 2026? Or will our society be a loving, heartwarming summer for 2026? I'm not sure, but it's already not a good sign for our public safety around the St. Louis region due to the gun violence and deaths over the Easter holiday weekend, and specifically Easter Day. I had to do a video about this because there were multiple shootings and multiple deaths that took place on the day of Easter. How ironic and hypocritical from a religious and loving standpoint is that? Easter, of course, is a religious holiday for Jesus Christ. If you are a Christian, a day to honor, love, and respect for mankind. However, over recent years, I'm starting to see some parallels of unhappy fate with warm weather, summertime holidays, and unfortunately, an uptick in gun violence in our urban cities, whether it's Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, St. Louis, Atlanta, etc. Black on black crime, a self-hatred and a loathing of ourselves, and nobody is protesting this black on black gun violence. And we need to have an uproar. We need to speak loud and proud that not only are we not going to take a white cop shooting a black pedestrian, but we should be protesting and having our hands raised and our voices spread loud about black on black gun violence. There is a panacea of self-hatred that we have for each other that needs to stop. There are too many fatherless homes, inept inner city public schools, untreated mental illness. We're living in a loveless and godless society, and something has to change, or else we're going to lose an entire generation of young people of color or black folks to gun violence in prison. So I wanted to do a video, and like I said, it already is looking like this could unfortunately be a dangerous summer here in the St. Louis region once it starts getting hot and people are outside a lot, and we will have multiple holidays that are approaching: Memorial Day, Juneteenth, 4th of July, Labor Day, etc., where it should be a time to gather with loved ones, but it is turning into these killing sprees and these killing fields in many of our parks and our urban cities. And somebody needs to raise their voice and say something. So let's get into this story. If you hadn't heard about it, I want to raise your level of consciousness, whether you're in St. Louis or outside of St. Louis, that many of our urban cities, we are understaffed with police officers. Public safety is a real issue for a healthy society. So, St. Louis shaken by a deadly Easter weekend shooting spree where business owners and residents are calling for urgent action after 6 separate shootings across the city left 3 people dead and six others injured on the day of Easter. And on this story, I want to say that at the Marquee restaurant and nightclub in downtown St. Louis, I know the family, the Stith family, very well. They had a shooting at the Marquee restaurant and lounge, and the patriarch of that family, Drexel Stith, they have been in the nightclub entertainment business for well over 30 years. For those who remember back on Compton and Olive, they had the Loft. They had Saint Skating Rink back in the day. And this family has been an instrument and a well-represented and professional family in the St. Louis area. And it's unfortunate that there was a shooting at their restaurant and lounge that I'm going to talk about in a second. But also, you got to give kudos, for those that don't know, that the Stith family is a very interesting family and have dipped into several different businesses. As I said, Drexel has had skating rinks, has had lounges, nightclubs, His younger brothers, Darren and David Stiff, had the production company called D2 that helped discover and develop Nelly and the Lunatics, and they were very instrumental in Nelly's first album, Country Grammar, that they recorded the demo tapes out at the Saints skating rink that the family owned back in the early 90s and the mid 90s, D2. And they had Jason Epperson from Basement Beats up under their tutelage, taught him how to do production. And of course, they had Nelly and the Saint Lunatics. A lot of people don't know that. Nelly ended up leaving them, and they've had some ongoing legal issues with contracts. But Drexel's family has been very instrumental in the St. Louis City and St. Louis County, and also with our well-known, beloved rapper Nelly. So let's get to this issue. The holiday weekend of Easter got off to a violent start as investigators scrambled to process a string of crimes spanning from North City to Soulard to downtown West. The wave of gunfire, which primarily centered around gas stations and local businesses, has left a trail of 3 fatalities and 6 injuries in just a 12-hour window. Just imagine that. St. Louis is considered a mid-major size city, not even 1 million people in the city of St. Louis anymore. And just think, if the gun violence in one day on Easter happened in St. Louis, what do you think is happening in Atlanta, in Chicago? This kind of deprivation of love, this deprivation of having a faith-based life with God in it. Love is an action and a verb. This self-hatred we have for each other. I keep telling you, there is going to be a large wave across the entire United States. Not only are we having wars outside of the country, but we are having a war inside our urban cities. So what happened at the Marquee Restaurant and Lounge, which has been a staple in the downtown West community for over 12 years, owner Andre Stith is cooperating with police after a shooting occurred in his parking lot around 2:30 a.m. on Saturday. A 30-year-old man was shot by an individual in a car traveling through a nearby alley. The victim remains in critical condition. The victim remains in critical but stable condition. So Andre Stith said this is a family-run business. As I said, I know them personally. They're a great family. Stith said while working alongside with his wife, his daughter, and teenage son, he said, "Don't come to my business where I'm trying to feed my family. Provide something positive for them and provide entertainment for the city. Don't bring your problems here." Stith, who employs off-duty police officers and utilizes a robust camera system, noted that his establishment has seen increased foot traffic recently as other nearby venues have closed. He is hoping to work together with the city to block off specific alleys and streets to prevent cruising and loitering that often precedes violence. And for those that don't know, they have initiated a curfew in the city of St. Louis and downtown city for teenagers. They have to definitely be in by midnight. There have been a lot of problems on Washington Avenue and in downtown St. Louis. He said, "We are good people, and where good people are going, bad people are going to follow," Stiff's remarked, adding that he often tries to mentor young men who visit his business. "The people who are out here committing crimes, you're going to get caught. There's cameras everywhere. You only get one life to live. And do you want to spend a large portion of your life in jail?" The incident outside the Marquee was just one of several violent encounters. The afternoon began with a shooting in the 1500 block of South Grand Boulevard at a BP gas station, where a 15-year-old, now listen to these ages and where these locations at, where a 15-year-old was shot in what appears to have been an act of self-defense. Hours later, chaos erupted at a Phillips 66 in Soulard. An altercation inside these gas stations spilled out into the parking lot, resulting in the death of a 21-year-old man and injuries to 2 others. 15, 21 years old, these people in the beginning of their lives, participating in negative activity that has the worst consequences you can think of: death. An anonymous witness who was shopping at a nearby Dollar Tree described the terrifying moments when employees had to lock down the store. So can you even imagine not only the people that are participating in this crime, but say you are just trying to get gas at the Dollar Tree across the street and you see and hear all of this. You know how scary that would be and how that would just screw up your whole day, your week. This witness said, I started hearing employees saying, we got to lock the doors, no one can leave. They're shooting outside, the witness said. One employee at the Phillips 66 described a colleague as an older woman who was so shaken by the incident and by the event that she was unable to return to work the following day. Duh. I mean, who wants to be around that? I mean, we have our urban cities inside America. While President Trump is so worried about what's going on outside America, we have our own little Chiracs and Iraqs in many of our urban black cities, and nothing's being done about it. The violence continued throughout the night. So in North City, around 8 p.m., a fight inside a gas station on West Florissant ended with a 31-year-old man dead and another injured. All of these people, 30 and under. South City at 10 p.m., a 31-year-old woman was critically injured after shots were fired into her vehicle in the 5500 block of South Grand. On the south side in Mount Pleasant, a man was shot and killed at a gas station in the 4300 block of South Broadway. In today's time, you can't even go to the damn gas station anymore or the Quick Trip without somebody trying to steal your debit information when you're getting gas, or somebody trying to break into your car, let alone an altercation takes place, and then gun violence at a gas station. Does that sound like free America, America the beautiful? It does not. We have our own little pockets in our urban cities in America that are very dangerous, very devastating, very destructive, very derelict. The power of the D words, where something needs to take place. Our families are broken. Unemployment is high. Unhappiness is high. Homelessness and helplessness is high, and something needs to change. We have bred a group of young folks, and unfortunately a group of young people of color, that have become the children of the corn. Heartless, helpless, and do not see any positivity sign for their future. So Stiff, back to the story. Stiff said he remains committed to the city and even closed his doors early during the weekend following the 314 day to help mellow things out in the community. We got all these holidays. We got 314 day, we got Juneteenth, we got Labor Day, Memorial Day, July 4th. And if we got this many shootings on Easter, a day of reflecting on Jesus Christ and Christianity, what do you think the outlook for the rest of 2026 and this summer is going to look like? I hope that in many of our urban cities, and definitely in St. Louis, it does not become a death camp. Mr. Stiff said in conclusion in this story that you only got one life to live. He said, anything I can do to help them keep the city safe, he says, I'm all for and willing to do it. I'm going to continue to do these stories ad nauseum until we reach one and teach one and become mentors. We got to get to these kids at 2, 3, 4 years old. By the time they're 9 and 10, it's too late. We have too many kids in the 9th grade, freshmen in high school, that are reading at a 4th grade level, and things need to change.